Good afternoon. My name is Tamara Coche, and I'm from Switzerland. I'm a mom, and I have a 10-year-old boy who's suffering from epilepsy. And I would like to introduce you to the idea of EpiNightNurse. Could I have the first movie, please? As you know, for patients with epilepsy or intracerebral epilepsy, nightly seizures are a major concern. Despite new treatment options like surgery or new medication, seizures fail to come under full control for all epilepsy patients. There are substantial risks from unnoticed prolonged seizures at night that can lead to regression in motor skills, behavior, or intellect. Intervention is needed by the caregivers or parents as soon as possible. As you know, these situations put significant pressure on parents and especially the patients, as seizure can occur at any time of the day. Parents, like my husband and I, have to be constantly alert and provide an around-the-clock care for our children. So we put up we sleep in our children's bedrooms, we put up monitors to listen to our children or watch our children sleeping at night. Or like us, we did nighttime shifts to observe our son while he's sleeping, to make sure we don't want to miss a seizure, but occasionally we still did. Responding to the needs of the patients, an increasing number of devices for seizure detections are on the market or close to being introduced. These machine-based seizure monitoring devices are either sensor mattresses that trigger alarm when irregular movements are being detected, body sensors like smartwatches strapped to the patient's wrist and assessing data from the patient's body like heart rate, movement, or skin conductivity, or cameras that assess motion, with motion detection that assess video and audio signals from the patients. All of these devices rely on an automated algorithm-based detection of seizure events. The system's precision depends on the extent to which a seizure A can be reliably measured or be inferred from measured data by the use of simple threshold values or more complex pattern recognition data. But we parents need a solution today. So with the child, for example, in our case, where seizures start focal and body movement is very limited, these devices fail, and I still have to make sure he's safe during the night. So this was the idea of founding EpiNightNurse. What is EpiNightNurse? It's actually, in comparison to the machine-based system, a human expert-based seizure monitoring system built around a real-time internet-based monitoring, nurses that are trained in seizure detection, and night vision camera, in addition to a microphone that is operated remotely by the nurse in the patient's home. Very central to this system is the customized alert triggers. This is unique because this way we can rely on the parent's experience. How does a seizure look like? What do I have to look out for? This is a schematic overview of the system. To the left, we have a camera and a microphone close to the patient's bed. The camera and the microphone are connected to the internet and being remotely, so the patient is being monitored by the nurse. The nurse can pan, tilt, and zoom the camera and turn up the sound of the microphone and even filter some sounds out of the patient's bedroom. In case of an emergency, the nurse triggers an alarm either by calling the parent or the caregiver or sending a text message to the parent or caregiver. Then the caregiver checks on the patient and gives a feedback to the nurse to let her know what was going on. Crucial to our system are, of course, qualified and dedicated nurses. So we set up a prototype for ourselves and hired 2 nurses from the Philippines, Maggie and Reese, who are doing a great job, I have to say. Because there's a large force of unemployed nurses in the Philippines, and the Alliance of Healthcare Workers says the number is 200,000 unemployed nurses for 2014, and for 2015 this number was even rising. Because of the unemployment rate, a lot of nurses leave their country and work abroad, and therefore leave even their families, not always under favorable conditions. The nurses in general are known for being well-trained with internationally recognized qualifications. With EpiNightNurse, we want to take, of course, first of all, pressure from the families so they can be more relaxed at night times, but at the same time we have the chance to help bring attractive employment to an emerging country. The difference in purchasing power between a developed country and an emerging country allows us to offer fair pay to the nurse and at the same time offer an affordable surveillance service to families in North America and in Europe. A small number of patients per nurse gives also safety that nothing is being missed at night. And there's another reason why we chose the Philippines. We have time zones. We can benefit from different time zones. Nurses work either from the morning to the afternoon if they take care of someone in Europe, or from the afternoon until the evening if they take care of someone in North America. So if you go to bed tonight at 11 o'clock, it will be 3 p.m. in the afternoon tomorrow in the Philippines. We, of course, have also a good technical equipment, which is crucial for the benefit of the system. Here you have a little demo. So we want to make sure that the nurse is not missing something because of a blurry picture or a bad noise. Therefore, we chose a really professional-grade camera and a good microphone. This, besides, is my son Gernot, who is suffering from epilepsy. There's also the option to record 7 nights in a row, so in case the nurses detect something that is not leading to an emergency call, but is some kind of suspicious, she can let the parents and caregivers know what time of that night she detected something, she recognized something, and the parents can go into the system, take a look at this episode, and if they want to keep it, they can download it to the computer, and if they want to, they can even talk to it or about it to the physician at the next visit. So. Next slide is not working.
Slide?
Yeah, thanks. Then we have our proposal. So we have a solution in place that is working really great for us. So we have more peaceful nights, and I have to say that even our son has more peaceful nights because in case of emergency, he knows he's being observed, and Maggie and Reese will trigger an alarm as soon as they see something. that we call our customized alert triggers, because we defined what they have to look out for. And even if he's just awake, they will give us or send me a text message so I can check on him, because as you all know, sleep deprivation is factor number 1. And so we can really take good care of him at night, and we can also rest at night. However, a good quality comes at a price. We need a professional technical equipment. We want to keep the number of nurses low per patient, so nothing is being missed. And we also want to pay a fair salary to the nurses. As outlined in the proposal to the Shark Tank competition, the service could be offered at a monthly fee of $400. This is affordable to some families, unfortunately not to all. Therefore, our proposal for the Shark Tank money is to subsidize costs to facilitate the access to the current system. This way, we could give this way we could bring the costs down for a limited number of families for 1 year to below $100. And at the same time, we use another part of the money to develop this system into a more efficient and hence more cost-effective system by putting technical infrastructure in place to monitor a higher number of patients. Thank you.
That was also a wonderful presentation. I also applaud your ingenuity in settling the issue with your son. You know, I've done a bit of a teleneurology, different services, and the thing that always gets me very nervous when I'm in those settings is when the internet goes out or my battery goes out or something in that direction. What's the backup plan you would have, given that you would have to have some sort of technical support should something happen to that connection?
I have to say, so far with stage 1, we don't have technical support in place, but at least, so we had this situation where electricity was down, and I got a text message, and the nurse told me, Maggie told me, I will be out of power from 3 o'clock your time in Basel, Switzerland. And unfortunately, I will be back on power at 10 in the morning again. And I took care of Gernot. So at least, I mean, it's not what we are really looking out for. We would like to sleep from 11 till 7, of course. But the thing is somebody watching him or not during the night? Because he's going from focal seizure into a status and needs seizure medication. So if I have to take care of him from 3 to 7 until he gets up, I'm fine, as long as I know that this is my job then. But in future, with the further system, we will have something, a backup in place, so we can swap then the system to another nurse, which is online and won't have the problems, let's say, with electricity.
So who monitors the nurses? I mean, are they doing this from their home? They're at a facility? Are they just hanging out with their friends? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, is
that's
anyone
true.
watching the watchers?
Yeah, we will have a supervisor in place, and it was kind of funny when we started this. So we hired these nurses so far away. It's like 15 hours flight if we would go from Basel, and so we got to know each other over the internet, and everybody was suspicious. They were suspicious if we would pay them, and we were suspicious if they would watch our son. And so we checked on them. We changed the angle of the camera and got the feedback by them putting it back into place. And we just disconnected the internet and got an SMS, so we cannot see him anymore, what's going on. And so we kind of stopped everything. But in the second stage of the system, we will have a supervisor, and they will be supervised, and then there's no problem anymore.
Have you have you used this on anyone else other than your son?
Again, please?
Have you used this method on anyone else?
No.
So the role of the caregiver is just to be, so you're presumably sleeping through the night with your husband, and you're notified by the nurse either by a phone call or a text message?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you arrive at the cost per month? I think, did you say $411?
Yes. So actually we have the internet connection, we have the salary, and we have kind of insurance, we have administration. It's calculated by us. So for us at the moment the costs are higher. And, but we think if a nurse covers like 3 to 4 patients, this would be sufficient.
Would you also use that along with another monitoring device?
Actually, we have another monitoring device. We have a smartwatch, and our son had three grand mal seizures last year. Although he had the smartwatch, we are on the list for a new smartwatch, which we heard about today. And so far, the electronic devices failed for us because his seizure signs, his symptoms are so subtle. You have to look into his face to see if it's working. And even in hospitals, doctors ask me, is he still seizing or not? So it's very subtle.
Congratulations on solving that problem with a unique way that seems very fair and equitable and balanced now, but to go from where you're at now to a large commercial endeavor would be a whole nother kind of enterprise. Do you have a plan for how to get from monitoring one person in your house to monitoring many people in many places?
So I'm personally not monitoring, I'm hiring and kind of
supervising.
But
I mean, from to go into many more people at one time, do you have an idea of who you'd hire first and how you'd hire the nurses in the Philippines and that kind of thing?
Again, please.
Do you have an idea about how you'd hire the other nurses in the Philippines and that kind of thing? Would you do it yourself, or would you rely on the supervisor? Would you have to have some new
So actually in the Philippines I would have a supervisor, but I see myself going back and forth to the Philippines, yes. So it's nothing I would do from my kitchen table all year round, and no, I see myself definitely flying a lot.
Can we have some questions from the audience? Yeah. Okay, after that, you're going to the back only, Patty. You got to go to the front too.
Do I go now? Do I go? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, are there certain criteria that you will apply in order to do this kind of monitoring? In other words, what kind of diagnosis, and would adults be included?
I couldn't understand.
Would adults be included? I didn't hear the first part.
Oh, and
Yes.
do you have certain criteria as to whether or not you'll monitor someone? In other
No.
words, a certain diagnosis?
No.
In other words, just the diagnosis of epilepsy?
Yeah. I would say the criteria is that you should see it via the internet, so that it can be seen on a monitor. As long as you can see somebody seizing and shows any kinds of signs, it doesn't exclude adults. I would be careful with babies, though.
Patty, one question up front, and then we're going to go on. Going to get your steps on your Fitbit today.
You'll get your steps in today. You mentioned that your son's mannerisms are very subtle. Are you going to be having the same nurse watch the same children every night so that they're
Yes.
more familiar?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And I know I had one more question, but I lost train of
Yes.
thought.
So it's always the same team of nurses that cover one patient. So, I mean, it's what we do now, because this way they will be able to see differences. If there is something weird that occurs one night, they can tell this is unusual and maybe you want to take a look to the video. And it's always the same team observing the same patients.
And will you be set up so that, say, the child is sick, that they can notify your service and say, hey, my son is sleeping for the next 3 hours during the day?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Or will that be possible?
Yeah, that would be possible.
Thank you.